Some of the best deals that we're going to talk about today. A lot of car dealers are struggling selling their products. We know that, we see it. I've got a great list here because I've been studying and looking at some of the products that just aren't moving. They're not selling very well, and when they don't sell, clearly you're looking at major incentives. Now we're hearing about incentives, and a lot of these dealers and these manufacturers are offering, $2,500 off, 1.9% on financing, all these things, but really when it push come to shove, are these actually decent deals? I mean, when we're talking about vehicles that are, 80, 90, $100,000 and then they're willing to give you $3,500 off, is that even an incentive? That's not an incentive to me. And quite frankly, it's a little insulting. I showed you the other day what Jeep was doing. They're offering some money off of their Wagoneers, their Grand Wagoneers, up to $7,000 off. But in Canada, the Grand Wagoneer is way up there. And by the way, we've got Daisy in here to kind of evaluate what kind of deals these are. And she's going to give us the green light or the green light or the red light on the deals. So let's just bear with us. Daisy's a little bit rambunctious this morning, so let's just get right to this. But the bottom line is, Jeep offering $7,000 off of a vehicle like a Grand Wagoneer that stickers $125,000, $130,000. It's insulting. It's insulting to you. They think you're not that sharp. They think I'm not that sharp. They think collectively the consumer's a bunch of space cadets that don't have the intelligence to see through a bad deal. But guess what? I'm going to cut to the chase. Jeep's been offering up incentives. We're seeing these $2,000, $3,000 off. The Wagoneers are getting incentivized. The Grand Cherokees are getting incentivized. Certain models, of course, their little wannabe pickup truck. Wranglers are getting incentivized. There are some deals, don't get me wrong, and it depends if you're looking for some of these vehicles anyway. Just make sure going into this conversation, if you're going into the negotiations, that you're going to be looking at possibly getting a deal. Make sure you understand the models that you're looking at, because even within, say, a Wagoneer, a Grand Wagoneer, they are seeing different types of discounts. But we have to know that when you're seeing these types of price slashes, I'm going to give you a list here right now, some of the biggest rebates that you can hope for in November, because we know at the year end, that's when you're going to get some of the biggest, best deals and bang for your buck. You don't go in there and, early summer and spring and think you're going to get the best deal. There might be some incentives, but usually the incentives are coming at us hard, fast, and furious in the fall. Just before Christmas time, just before the year end, that's when a lot of these OEMs are offering us some of the discounts because they're trying to push their old product out, make room for the new models. In this case, the 25s are around the corner. A lot of these car lots are already filling up with 25s, and they have all these older models. And, we've talked about this. I've shared this time and time again, but there's still 22s and 23s out there and lots of 24s. So they're going to be trying to incentivize. So let's just break this down. And I'm going to give you some of the best deals right now in the market. Forget about Jeep. I mean, they have some options there, but it's not a secret. Stellantis, offering, $3,500, $5,000 off of on a full-size SUV that's six figures, to be honest, is quite insulting. It's not nearly enough. I mean, when people start talking about 30% off, then we're talking about getting serious. Then they're showing some good faith into the pricing increases that we've seen over the last couple of years. So let's just break this right down. And Daisy, we'll see what you think there. Hey, she's getting a little rambunctious. Daisy, look, right there we have the Hyundai Ioniq 5 discount. Now, we've seen this time and time again throughout the entire year. I've provided some of the biggest bangs for bucks and biggest discounts. Clearly, this vehicle is not selling. We know the EV market's a little tight and tough anyway to negotiate, especially in North America. It is growing. There is an increasing amount of people buying electric vehicles, but it's not nearly at the pace that a lot of these OEMs are hoping for. I mean, look what's going on with Volkswagen. They're struggling and they're not selling their products, and it's a tough go for them. I mean, a lot of their vehicles, they've gone all in with their electrification, and now their ICEs, they've gone halfway house by putting a Turbo 4 in a full-size Atlas. It just doesn't make sense. So their sales are in the toilet. And they've gone all in electric when electric sales, while are up, are not nearly as good as, they're clearly putting their investments into. Okay, with that said, Hyundai Ioniq 5, they're offering up to $10,000 off of MSRP. Some big aggressive discounts. They're saying, first, there's a $7,500 retail bonus cash. There's also potentially current Hyundai Financial customers can score another $1,500 year-end upgrade offer. So if you're, loyalist, they might give you a little extra money off that. Finally, EVs in stock for over 180 days are eligible for another $1,000 aged inventory. Remember we talked about lot rot? It's real. And Hyundai is definitely offering up and recognizing that that's a big problem. So they're trying to incentivize the purchase of vehicles that are now sitting out there for a while. So we're saying 180 days, so half a year, 6 months, that's reasonable. When you're getting out to a year, 2 years, then lot rot's a real factor. But make sure you go to the site. I keep showing you Car Gurus, has all that information filtered down, your demographic, your location, what you're looking for, and that specific make and model. And you're able to drill right in, even right to your dealership, and find out how much and how long that vehicle's been sitting there for. So if it's older than 180 days, you might even go, buy a vehicle that's 150 days versus a vehicle that's 250 days. What's the difference? Not much, but you might be able to save an extra $1,000. Now, with that said, they're also offering 0% financing for 5 years. There's also 48-month option, no payments for 3 months. So there's definitely some offers there. What do you think, Daisy? Good deal or bad deal? No, she's not loving it too much. No, see, she's not really loving that. Well, that's okay. Daisy, maybe the next one will get you, right? Okay. How about the Lincoln Navigator discounts? Up to $12,000. We know Lincoln, one of the poorer sellers, big Ford products. It's a land yacht. Right now, I've already said this in previous videos. People are looking, the sales of full-size SUVs are diminishing, and the sales of the smaller subcompact vehicles that are in that $20,000 to $30,000 range is going up. So you're getting this tidal shift from high-priced vehicles down to lower-priced vehicles. That's why this big behemoth is not selling. So 12 grand off, they're offering for 24 Lincoln Navigators. First of all, they're saying this stately luxury SUV has about a $10,000 rebate. Additionally, luxury vehicle owners may qualify for an additional $2,000 Conquest cash incentive. That's potentially up to $12,000 off if that's what floats your boat. It's a beast. Like, these things are large and in charge. You've got to see one if you haven't seen one in person. They are massive. They're talking about 0% financing for 5 years. But again, as I've always said, financing isn't necessarily the best way to go. If you can pay cash, that's perfect. If you do have to pay through, a loan period, keep your loan terms down. 5 years is sort of the kind of the top end of that. I still recommend go to 3 to 4 years if you can afford the monthly payments in a 3 to 4 year time frame. And of course, a bigger down payment to make sure you control that monthly payment a little bit more. So the more you put on the front end, it's only going to help you in the long run. I mean, no one want to get in these 7-year loan terms, 84 months. That's absolutely ludicrous. But they're not incentivizing that anyway. So what do you think there, Daisy? Good deal or not? No, she's not liking that. Okay, all right. Moving on. Ford Expedition. That's another land yacht. That's basically the same vehicle. $5,000 off. It's a Ford, so it's a slightly smaller MSRP. So naturally the percentage is similar, but of course it's less money off. Probably a little bit more popular, and that's why incentives of $5,000. So at 5 grand off, to me, is insulting. You've got a vehicle that's $100K. Oh, here we'll give you $5,000 at 5%. I mean, once I hit 55, I qualify for the retirement package. I can walk into a restaurant and ask for the old timers discounts when I buy my bacon and eggs. And this is all that is. It's like you could walk in there pretty much say, yeah, give me 5% off just for being, remember the old Selsun Blue commercials where they said 2 minutes for looking so good. Well, here you go. 5K just for looking so good. So anyway, that's it. That's an insult in my mind. Don't bother. Not a discount. But we know Ford's been selling their stuff, so they're in probably a least of a desperate position than, say, Stellantis. What do you think, Daisy? Good deal? No, she's not liking it. Okay. Now here's one that is absolutely horrendous. And I had a viewer ask me, they're looking for some deals on some luxury car segments. We talk all the time about Stellantis, Ford, GM, but there's people that are looking at Mercedes, BMWs, Audis. And so let's talk about that. You talk about one of the best deals because nobody's buying them. The XM, which is their big, bold, brash beast of an SUV. Huge money. Now BMW is saying, okay, for 2024 model years, they're offering up to $15,000 off of sticker. All the versions of the sporty plug-in hybrid feature a $15,000 off, 3.99% APR for the financing, and that's good for 5 years. You see a common theme. Again, I wouldn't go over 5 years. Try to keep it 3 to 4 years, and especially a vehicle like this is not going to be cheap. So 15 grand off a vehicle that's going to cost you $150,000, $200,000. You're going to have to decide. That's like a 10% discount, roughly. It's not an amazing deal. But if you're looking at that vehicle and you're sort of in teetering, this might represent a good deal. So definitely go in there and try to sharpen the pencils. They may even give you that even before some of these formal discounts. But remember, all of these dealers are getting desperate. What? Yeah, see, she thinks that's a decent deal. She just said so. But anyway, know that we're hitting the year end. They've got to try to make their targets. They're trying to get these incentives out so buyers feel the urgency to buy. But you know, there's two ways to look at this. You buy the outgoing of 24s, and you're buying something that's already kind of a year old. But then the flip side is you buy a 25, and a lot of these model changes are coming. We look at the Ram products. We're seeing a lot of those vehicles now have that Turbo 6. So there's some unknowns. As you get into the new generational models, sometimes you have new challenges with, you know, durability and reliability. So there's benefits sometimes in going sort of the last of the oldest or the newest, earliest of the new. So give it some thought, but it's an expensive vehicle. If you've been looking anyway, sure. Here's one for you. And this one here is a little bit silly too. Jeep Grand Cherokee, they're getting discounted. We know Stellantis has been desperate to start to discount, but this is where I truly believe this is insult to injury. They're trying to sell it. They're promoting these discounts, but this isn't enough. The product is not there. The quality is not there to substantiate these costs that they've been, you know, increasing over the last few years. But here's a Jeep Grand Cherokee discounted up to $9,500 off of MSRP for 2024 model years. They're saying, you know, up to $7,500 in potential savings. It's a third row in the Grand Cherokee L Overland models, and it features, say, a $6,000 in retail bonus cash, and stacked with another $1,500 in retail customer cash. Returning Stellantis lessees may also qualify for another $2 grand off, but you know what? And maybe that's the best way to go, is lease these products, because we know long term they're probably not going to last, in my own opinion. Altogether, that's about $9,500 off if you play all your cards right. Go in there, sharpen the pencils. Honestly, I would encourage you to dig even deeper, chisel them even harder. Target that invoice pricing and not sticker price. Remember, we always said you should be looking at somewhere in that 5%, 2 to 5% over invoice. That's still well below MSRP in most cases. That's really what you should be aiming for. A lot of these dealers are going to tell you to pound sand, and that's where I walk. That's where I walk, because it's not worth it. These products aren't worth the kind of money they're asking. It's not worth the cardboard box it came in. So anyway, it's good till November 12th. Black Friday deals on November 13th. Anyway, I think that kind of came and went. But there's some deals here. There's some discounts as we roll into the year end. Here's a bit of a bigger discount, up to, but this somewhat has to do with the fact that we're dealing with SRT models and some of the more premium drivetrains. But the Dodge Durango, as you can see, another common denominator. What do you think about that Grand Cherokee there, Daisy? What do you think? She's not saying much. Okay, that's fair. Dodge Durango, they're actually saying for 25s. So this is different, right? The Dodge Durangos are actually pumping this up, promoting a 25 Dodge Durangos are eligible for a Power Dollars bonus cash incentive. And interestingly, they're looking at the SRT Hellcats aren't excluded. Now, that tells you one thing, that they're not selling, including their Hellcats and SRTs and everything else. So it's not just their base models and their base trim with the plastic, you know, with the Fisher-Price interiors. It's all of the more premium versions, and they're including all of that. Now they're saying a whopping $7,100 in savings off of sticker. And the V8 Durangos are eligible for a $4,000 national engine bonus cash. Is that because you're going to need $4 grand to rebuild that engine in a couple of years? I'm just saying. But anyway, what we have here on purchases, you can stack up offers for $13,100 in potential savings. if you kind of package it all together. So you might be able to get some good deals. What do you think, Daisy? Daisy seems to be gnawing at me. I think she's kind of feeling this one a little bit, the Durango. But the Durango's a bit of an obsolete product. They were also talking about moving the production up to Canada. They're trying everything to try to save a buck. But you know what? Again, $13,000, if you stack it all these incentives together, might be worth it. On a vehicle that starts out at, say, $80,000, $73,000, now you're at $60,000. Is that worth it? I don't know. You know, it's borderline. Honestly, I think in most cases, most people just feel insulted by it all and would rather see that 30-35% off that they lost in buying power since 22 or 21. Another one, Ioniq 6 by Hyundai, up to $12,000 off of sticker. A 24 Ioniq 6, one of the largest discounts on any car EV otherwise. Federal tax credits. Hyundai is offering also a $7,500 retail bonus cash. Entry-level SE standard range trim can mean 19.4% discount off a sticker. 20%. Now we're talking. See, now we're talking 20%. I mean, you still have to allow for inflation. I mean, even if we didn't get gouged in the 30-40% increases over the last few years, we do have to recognize that even natural inflationary increases come to the tune of 2 to 4% year over year. I mean, many would argue it was a lot more than that. But realistically, yeah, you can probably get yourself some deals there. 20% off, not a bad arrangement. With that said, leasing, 36-month lease, score up to another $11,000 lease cash incentive. And basically, there's lots of opportunities on the Ioniq 6. What do you think there, Daisy? What do you think? Is that a good one? What do you think? Oh, not really. Eh? Not loving that. Okay. How about the BMW 7 Series? I thought that car was gone ages ago. Nobody buys them anymore. Nobody likes them. Nobody drives them. Who even buys a BMW 7 Series anymore? I mean, you see the 3s and 4s. You hear everything about the M cars, but 7 Series? I thought they discontinued. I'm just kidding. I know they didn't discontinue them, but nobody buys them. But they're offering 10 grand off sticker for 25 model years for the 7 Series. 25s. So they're saying, for example, a 740 has about a $6,000 APR credit that can be stacked with a 2.99% the BMW APR financing for 60 months or 5 years. Returning BMW customers can qualify for a $4,000 BMW loyalty APR credit. That's $10,000 off of sticker plus discounted financing. So if you're getting a little bit, on the discount on the financing side, you can save an extra couple of bucks. But $10,000 off a car that's $180,000. 5%, 6%, I don't know. Doesn't sound like that much incentive to me to get me down there to sign the dotted line to spend $190,000. To gain what, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 off? Nah, that doesn't really sound like a big discount. But hey, if you're looking anyway, that is an option. What do you think there, Daisy? 7 Series BMW? Are you feeling it? Okay, maybe not. She's not loving that. Okay, Genesis G80 discount. Wow. Here's a big one. Whoa. She's not loving the sounds of that. Okay, a 24 Genesis G80 EV has some of the biggest discounts in the luxury car segment. And basically they're saying up to $22,750 going towards the Genesis G80 EV. And that just means that you can see a whopping almost $23,000 lease cash incentive on a three-year contract for early 30% off of the MSRP. That is massive. That's massive for the G80 Genesis, another Hyundai product. We know that they're not selling at all. How about the Mercedes EQS discount? Now be careful here. I'm always telling you, some of the worst depreciating products are the Porsche Taycan, the Audi e-tron GT and Audi e-tron. They're electric as well, and the Mercedes EQ series. So the EQS is highly incentivized, but they're offering a $15,000 sticker a discount on that, so off of MSRP. But realize, in the first year, I've showed you examples of after a year of ownership and maybe 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 miles, a lot of owners are finding them losing 40 to 50% of the original value in a year. So unless you're going to plan to keep this around for a while, I don't know. Take a good look at it and see if it fits the bill. But it's a pricey car. So 24 EQSs. Deep discounts, dealers struggle to clear the lots. I've seen here locally where some of these EQ models are sitting and sitting and sitting and sitting, and it's the same car that's been sitting there for a couple of years now. The regular EQS has a $13,500 Mercedes incentive bonus, and the higher performance AMG version, $15,000 off of sticker. There's some discounts there, but be careful because they go down in value fast. How about the Dodge Charger discount? $3,700 off sticker. Another big insult for the SXT, GT, and RT models. Power dollars through November 12th. Well, that ship has sailed, but they're always offering discounts. Let's face it. You can sharpen your pencils, walk in there, and tell them, look, I'll tell you what, I need $18,000 off of this car, and then we'll talk. You've got to go in there. You've got to be aggressive. Stellantis dealers, although they act coy, they act like their product's the only thing on the market. There's great options out there. So if they're not willing to talk, don't bother. Same thing with the Challenger, $3,750 off. Same issue that you're going to get with the Charger and Challenger. Same kind of deal. So as far as trucks, everybody wants to know about trucks. We talk about trucks all the time. Where is a good truck deal? Where's the best truck deal right now? Well, we know it's not Ford because we're seeing Lariat half tons still at $105,000, $110,000. We're seeing XLTs for 80, 85,000 Canadian. We're seeing even Mavericks now over 50 grand for the Lariat trim. So clearly Ford doesn't feel desperate enough. They're not hungry enough. They're not eating their fingers yet. So Ford's not offering a great deal. GM, they've been status quo. They're not offering amazing deals either because they're also top sellers for pickups. So as you guessed, Ram 1500. They're also switching up to this new Turbo 6 here in 2025. But here it is. In 2025, the Ram 1500 has some of the biggest discounts. Why? Because a couple reasons. Well, Stellantis products aren't selling. And also because they have this new Turbo 6. And a lot of people are skeptical. They don't want to buy that truck. There's too much risk. It's a new product. And I've always said this, don't go for the first of any new major model overhaul, which is what they're doing here. Not to mention it's a Turbo 6. You know, Ford, when they came out with their Power Stroke and their Ford F-150s, that was a hard seller initially. This one's going through some growing pains as well. And they're basically saying up to $7,500 off. Nationally, there's a $1,500 bonus stacked with a $4,000 retail customer cash. And with that said, in California, Chrysler Capital is offering an additional $2,000 bonus cash. That's just a little plug, but take it for what it's worth. That's $7,500 in savings in certain dealers. I've seen local dealers here too trying to push, and every dealer is going to have their own way to try to push their product out the door. But a lot of the inventory is growing. Ooh, what do you think? You don't like this one? What do you think of the Ram? You don't want to go for the Turbo 6? No, I don't think Daisy's loving the Turbo 6 either. But there are some options. So the best deal right now for pickup trucks are the Rams. Just know that you've lost the Hemi, you've lost the V8s, and they're gone now. So definitely, I'd like to hear your thoughts down below. Have you found any other big discounts out there that you want to share with the rest of the crew here? That would be absolutely lovely. But know this is the year end. This is the time, if you've been waiting for a deal, this is the time that if you don't like one of these deals, just know that any of these manufacturers are going to be a little hungrier as they transition into 2025 and start bringing in some of their newer inventory. This is that time. Hope to see each and every one in the next one. See you real soon. Bye-bye.